want every customer to be comfortable.
We want to be transparent.
So you have all the information to make the best decision.
These flags mean that everyone that walks through these doors is family.
The Courtesy experience is getting the things you need from people you know.
Come see us today at Courtesy Buick GMC on Johnson Street.
So what are you smoking, man? What do you got in front of you? I'm going to let Pops ask you that. What do you got?
Bocock Brothers. Mild Honduras wrapper. When I first lit it, tasted got a little fruit on the foot of it. Not too aggressive, not too aggressive. This is actually my first time smoking today, and it's great. There's that leather that you were talking about.
It lights up your palate.
Yeah. Definitely a good cigar.
From our humble beginnings in 1898 right here in England, Arkansas, hometown values were important 100 plus years ago. And although the building is a bit different, and there's a few more people in it, those same values drive us each and every day. Welcome home.
You know, one of our, long-standing traditions here is that nobody sleeps hot. We're authorized dealers for Carrier and American Standard. We have more than one major line of equipment because we want our clients to have an option as far as what they put in. NOLAAC.com is our webpage. We have a lot of information about our company, about the employees of the company, and the services that we provide.
It's a Cajun tradition to drink into the wee hours of the night. And here at LSU, they do that in a party oasis known as Tigerland. With that being said, there's one that towers above the rest.
It's called Fred's, and it has a captivating tagline. Fred's, we do the fucking.
On Top Sports, everything's better on top.
What's up, guys? One Team, One Podcast is back. Have some fun tonight. We have got a lot to talk about. It's been a couple of weeks since I've talked last, and LSU Baseball. We're going to talk their trip to Texas. So it was 4 games they played in Texas, including at Texas on Tuesday. But we'll talk about that. Break down a little bit of their offense in pitching. There's a couple of little things that I see that we can kind of touch on. So we'll talk about baseball mostly tonight, but we'll also talk about basketball coming to an end. Thank God. So they blew a huge lead the other night. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about kind of the future of the program. Obviously, it's a dumpster fire right now, but kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit since it's coming to an end. And then, we got a couple of things going on. Obviously, I think I wanted to talk a little bit about Alabama and that ridiculousness that's going on in Tuscaloosa. We'll talk about that, but also Ole Miss baseball. There was bullshit that happened yesterday. We got a guy probably breaking Pete Maravich's scoring title. Talk about that. I know a lot of people are up in arms about that today. And then LSU coaching changes. We had a few that happened recently. So we're going to dive into all that, but first I want to talk about our sponsors. Bank of England Mortgage, Patrick Michelson over at Bank of England, doing great things in the community. Reach out to him for any refi mortgage needs. I have something coming up I'm going to need his help with. So give him a call, 225-810-1805 at boesouthernstates.com. You can even do that online. So give him a holler. Also, River City's Total Maintenance, NOLA North Shore area. Give Lucas Ragusa a call, 504-841-3300. Now's the time. Get your ACs checked. It's going to get hot. I was telling somebody the other day, I think this is going to be a hot ass summer. So give Lucas and the guys a call over at River City's Total Maintenance. Also, Brandon Lejean over at Courtesy Buick GMC in Lafayette, 337-224-1867. Brandon can find the vehicle for you. He can do all the paperwork for you. Even if you're in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, wherever you're listening, he can do it all for you in Lafayette, even deliver the car to you. So give Brandon a call. Check him out. Also, check him out on Facebook. He's got deals all the time. Fred's in Tigerland since 1982. Best screwdrivers in town. Everybody knows who Fred's is. And last but not least, Bocock Brothers. I actually got the hat on. Bocock Brothers. And if you look over here, I have Bocock on the wall over here. I have my cigar wall, all my boxes. So, yeah, check out BocockBrothers.com. Doing great things. LSU grads live in Houston. Actually taking over the cigar industry by storm. So check those guys out over at Bocock Brothers. Love Doug and Bryant. All right, so let's jump into it. Texas road trip. 3 games in the Carbach Classic. I actually watched, I would say 2.5 games of this. I listened to some of it on the radio. I have a social life, guys. I'm sorry. What can I say? But so obviously we started with Kansas State. That was kind of the game I didn't get to watch all of it, but pretty much dominated that game. Didn't have any trouble in that game. Probably could have scored a little bit more. Had a couple opportunities. We left some guys on, but wasn't too concerned after that game. The Iowa game is one I think that a lot of people locally were up in arms about because it's the first loss that you weren't expecting. And I think, you hear it every year. Midweek game, something happens, fluke happens, and you lose a game, and the casuals don't really understand why that happened. And this game, Iowa had a big time arm pitching, and it was a weird. This guy who's throwing 101 can't find the play. I heard Ben McDonald talking about this, and he said it perfectly. He's like, man, it's not comfortable if you're a hitter standing in the box and 101's coming at you and you don't know where it's going to go. And I get that I completely understand it. Now he started throwing his slider, and his slider was hitting 89, and that was kind of getting to be the out pitch for the day against LSU. And LSU ended up with 15 strikeouts in the game. We're going to talk about the strikeouts in a second because that could be something to take a look at later. But 15 strikeouts against Iowa. Not only did you not play well, like offensively, but you also gave up 15 runs, if I'm not mistaken, to Iowa. It was one of their better offensive days as well. So all around, it was a bad game. Shit like that's going to happen. You just don't want to see it consistently, and you don't want to see it typically on the weekends. But yeah, drop that game. Come back, though. I loved the way that you drop a game like that. You look terrible. The next day, you had a get-right day against Sam Houston State. Completely blow the doors off of them. So against Iowa, I was noticing a few at-bats, and I guess I must have seen Joe Bear twice strike out bad against Iowa. And I made a tweet about it, and a couple guys jumped on me about it on Twitter, which is typically what happens on Twitter. I don't know if you know that, but breaking news. People like to jump on other people on Twitter. But Joe Bear comes back the next day, 2 home runs. Guy tries to tell me in your face kind of thing, but it is what it is. So I like to see the bounce back. I like to see guys, if you have a bad day, come back, have a better day the next day. That's one of the things I love about baseball too. So, and if you notice around the country, everybody's dropping a game here and there. There ain't nobody that's just like blowing the doors off of everybody. They've all lost games. Hell, A&M just lost 2 out of 3 to Portland. So it's going to happen. Speaking of A&M, we had them in a couple of weeks, SEC opener. So, all right. So offense and, okay, let me skip forward. We play Texas on Tuesday. They saved Thatcher Hurd. Hurd didn't look great against Southern, but they were using that as a scheduling for the Texas game. Hurd comes in. Hurd looks great. Hurd has command. He looks like a Saturday Sunday guy. easily. Shut out Texas. Gavin Dugas with the huge nuts in the 9th inning drops them on Texas's face 3-0. And honestly, it was I know baseball purists are going to say that was an exciting game, but for the average watcher, that was probably a little bit of a boring game. 0-0 going into the last inning, and nobody seemed like they could get too much going. So offensively, we didn't really play great, but pitching had some good pitching that game, obviously. So all that to say, I think the offense and our pitching staff still look elite. Like, offensively, you don't even have guys like Tommy White hitting yet. Like, wait till some of these guys come around. I mean, we're just now seeing Jared Jones enter the lineup and play a little bit. Wait till he's got a couple of SEC series underneath him. This is going to be a loaded offense. And to see Cruz hitting 550 or whatever he's hitting already this year, that's a great sign. Guys are ready to play. I think the only one that's probably starting slow right now is Tommy White, and then he had the injury. I think that's just going to work itself out. You can tell the guy can just slam. So I'm loving the potential that you're going to see out of this offense right now. Like, it's just going to be murderer's row. It already is. It's just going to be even more when SEC rolls around. We're gearing up for one of the better seasons of LSU history, which is saying a lot because we've had a lot of good ones. Pitching, I still think we're so freaking deep. And I was having a conversation with, I think it's the Texas Tiger on Twitter. I had a back and forth exchange with him today about, I think he's pissed about Riley Cooper being in the weekend rotation. And I understand where he's coming from. Riley Cooper is not a weekend starter, and he needs to go back to the bullpen. But I think what Jay Johnson was doing for the first 2 weekends was letting his guys kind of get some time underneath them. You got an experienced arm, a guy he trusts. Let's throw him out there on the weekends until these guys kind of like we figure that out, which I think you have now. You've gotten Thatcher Hurd's gotten 2 starts underneath him. The first one he didn't look good. He didn't look like a weekend guy, I'll tell you that, after Southern. But against Texas, he does. Looks like he's going to be a weekend guy. Ty Floyd is a guy who looks like he can pitch on the weekends. You got guys like, Chase Shores still looks good. Doesn't look bad by any means. Got a crazy good arm. I could see Skeens, Ty Floyd, and Hurd as your Friday, Saturday, Sunday starting against A&M. Now, how you schedule that now and line them up for that, that's probably the question, because then you can definitely have Cooper, first guy out of the bullpen. You still got Little. I like Little as your closer right now, to be honest. I like his stuff. I like his energy when he comes out. You got Ackenhausen, who pitches lights out. Ackenhausen from Little Eastern Oklahoma. Nate Ackenhausen. Yeah, you got some stud arms, and I didn't even name probably half of them. There's plenty of other guys. Hell, I said this a couple weeks ago. We still got fucking Blake Money. Blake Money was our Friday night starter. You still got him just sitting there in the bullpen as another guy that you could just throw out there for an inning or two. It's crazy, the depth. Crazy. So lots of pitching depth, lots of pitching talent. It is elite. Our offense is elite. Pitching is still elite. And I'm really looking forward to, you got 4 games coming up Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday and then A&M. And I'm really looking forward to an SEC series, especially on the road. I want to see these guys let it loose. And I know this is one more weekend just to kind of like get some time under your belt, but I'm so looking forward to SEC baseball at this point. Okay, so we talked a little bit about pitching rotation. That's what I think is going to get worked out a little bit, probably over this weekend, and then we're going to have it solidified for A&M. But obviously, Skeens, I'm thinking Skeens, Floyd, and Hurd, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, what it looks like this weekend, I still think it could be playing around a little bit with your, you could have that Monday, that could be a Hurd day. And then you slide them back into Sunday too. So I'm sure Jay Johnson's looking at all that. So one of the issues, offense obviously is elite. They have a ton of power. And I just saw Leah Van probably about 30 minutes ago tweet about this, and I was going to talk about it tonight. These strikeouts, lot of strikeouts. And it was more evident, actually, K-State and Iowa, you had a lot of strikeouts. You had 27 strikeouts, I think, between the two games. Over the last 4 games, you've had 40 strikeouts. That's a lot of strikeouts, guys. And potentially could be an issue, especially when you face a number one guy who's got crazy good stuff. Like, I understood a little bit the Iowa guy just because it was so, he's throwing hard, don't know where he's throwing the ball, all that kind of stuff. But to have 40 over 4 games it's not just a one-off. That's a trend. So that's something they're going to have to get under control. When you face like a Dolander at Tennessee and, you got studs at, Texas A&M, I know, has got to have good pitching staff. They always do. You're going to have some guys that can get on base. That's what I was worried about, even from last year. Like, can guys get on base for these guys that are going to produce? So we don't have solo home runs and things like that. 3-run homer, Gavin Dugas, was fantastic. So I want to see more of that. Let's get some guys to get on base. Maybe that's the lineup that needs to change up a little bit. You got guys like Trey Morgan that are, probably have a great on base percentage. I need to look that up. Get on base in front of these guys. Less strikeouts. Let's get the ball on the ground. Let's get on base. Let's get some walks, things like that. So I think if you're going to gripe about anything right now, the biggest concern would be the strikeouts. 40 over 4 games. That's a lot. So, again, looking forward to Butler, Central Connecticut State. Both huge baseball powerhouses coming into the box. Just kidding. Which you typically see that northern teams come down here and they just play as many games as they can until the weather's better and then go back up. But looking forward to a good weekend, a pre-SEC weekend, just to kind of get some time. Let's get a 4-0 record out of it, and then you actually got Lamar coming in for midweek. It could be a little bit of a challenging game for that as well. So, all right, move on to basketball. Sorry to be a downer and go from baseball to basketball, but that's what we're gonna do. Almost to the end of the road. Almost to the end. Blew a 19-point lead against Missouri. If you had Missouri minus 4.5 on that spread, good on you, bro. You must have been feeling great. If you had Missouri minus 4.5, LSU's up 19 points. Missouri comes back, wins by 5. You're living right. You are living right. Did not watch a whole lot of this game. I followed it just kind of like on my phone. I just don't have the energy to spend on it anymore. I'm watching the score and I kind of know what's going on, but LSU got hot in the first half. Parker Edwards comes out, hits a couple of threes. Whoever's in the crowd's going crazy. They're hitting shots. LSU's hitting threes for the first time all year. And I mean, I used to be a betting guy. I'm not really a betting guy anymore, but I would have looked at that live line. I tell you that. I just knew that wasn't going to be sustainable. Like LSU's just going to hit 23s in a game. No, it's not going to happen. So I didn't think that they would lose after going up by 19, but here we are. So LSU drops another one. 2 wins in SEC. We have to go to Florida now to end the season. That'll be a loss. So probably end with 2 wins on the season. Look, guys, it's not great. And I feel like I've talked about this for a few weeks now, that it doesn't look good. Like, something happened in the middle of this year after we beat Arkansas. Something happened. And you can tell, like, the Texas A&M game, we got bullied against Texas A&M. Something happened on this team. I don't know if they lost it. I don't know if Matt McMahon just didn't lost his players. I have no idea. But that don't look like the same team anymore. They don't play as hard. They're not as good. I don't know what happened. They almost beat Kansas fucking State, and they look like trash. LSU basketball looks like trash. They've recruited at a high level ranking wise, and these excuses that you keep hearing about talent level and all that sounds like it's starting to come to an end a little bit. Some people are starting to catch on. I heard a couple of shows within the last couple of days about this. I heard I call it state-run media. I've heard Jordy Collada. I've heard Charles Hannegriff. I've heard a couple of these guys starting to criticize a little bit of what's going on. Like, it don't look good. Recruiting is, we brought in guys. We brought in the number 11th ranked transfer portal recruiting class. We brought in number 17th ranked recruiting class out of high school. We brought in guys. And this is what you got. So what if we bring in the 12th ranked transfer portal recruiting class next year? Yay. Like, what are we going to do with it? High school, I mean, you really got Corey Chest, and that's it, out of New Orleans, power forward. That's all you got. There's no, like, point guard coming in. There's no Tremont Waters that you know about or anything like that. He's going to have to tear this fucker up. Like, he is going to have to go out and recruit the piss out of the transfer portal. Go get the guys. He's going to have to do whatever it takes. I'm telling you right now, if he didn't win 5 SEC games next year, he may be gone. And that might depend on who he brings in, like player-wise. If he brings in some stud players and he still only wins 5 games or something like that, he may be gone. And honestly, this is all, and it's probably not even Matt McMahon's fault all the way. I got to blame Scott Woodward on this one. Like, this guy was just, he blew this up when he didn't have to blow it up. And it's almost unfair to have the expectations that I have for Matt McMahon. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I think there's plenty of fans that are the same way. But, like, to have the expectations that they have for Matt McMahon, and it's mostly because of what we knew from Will Wade. And Will Wade had a winner. We were on our way. I mean, we had a couple really good years. Our worst year, we're in the NIT. We win a game in the NIT. I mean, we had some success. And it was still building. And to see it completely blown up and see another guy come in and you're all the way rock bottom of the league. And when I say you're the rock bottom of the league, you are the fucking rock bottom of the league. Ole Miss and South Carolina both took it to us. So if you're doubting that, we're the laughing stock. We're the last place team in the SEC, no doubt. To see where we were and now where we are, is very deflating, especially if you're a lifelong LSU basketball fan and all you wanted us to do is get to the top by any means fucking necessary. And here we are. So, yeah, I blame Scott Woodward, no doubt. Feel like he, of course, pulled the trigger way too fast on this one. Didn't let it play out. Now you're gonna probably see Will Wade coaching, maybe even at Ole Miss next year. That'll be. You can't help but not have more expectations for Matt McMahon next year if that's the case. Like, say Will Wade goes in there and brings a whole bunch of guys in immediately, and we are still winning maybe 5 games in the SEC, if that. We have a long ways to go. And you don't hear any recruiting buzz. I even tried to tweet one of the recruiting insiders the other day. Like, are we recruiting anybody right now? Like, who do you know that we're recruiting? Doesn't look great. But again, it is a little bit more refreshing to hear some of the LSU state-run media guys starting to talk about less and less excuses now. Like, we're getting our brains beaten in every game. We blow a 19-point lead. It's embarrassing. We're the laughing stock of the SEC. You actually brought in. I even heard Jordy talk about that. We brought in talent last year. He even recited what I've been saying for the last month. Number 11th ranked transfer portal class, number 17th ranked recruiting class out of high school. You brought in guys. So stop saying that we didn't have anybody, we don't have any talent. It's bullshit. Like, let's just say what it is. It's bullshit. With the transfer portal, you can come back immediately. With NIL right now, you can come back immediately. There are no NCAA sanctions right now. I get it that that's a cloud hanging over your head, but if you pay this fucking guy $100,000, he's going to come here. No doubt. So get guys in here. If you don't win 5 games, you're gone. All right, so Pete Maravich's scoring record is in jeopardy tonight, actually. Detroit Mercy's in the quarterfinals of the Horizon League, and I think it's Antoine Davis. Antoine Davis is, I think he's a 5th-year senior at Detroit Mercy. And I didn't realize, I'd heard Mike Davis on Jordy Collada's show this morning. Mike Davis is the coach at Indiana. He coached at Alabama for a little while. He is Antoine Davis's father, coaches for Detroit Mercy. So, but Antoine Davis, it's kind of been talked about a lot here. Pete Maravich's scoring record, total amount of points, can get passed up tonight by Antoine Davis. And of course, a lot of LSU historians and everybody is jumping in and saying, well, that's not real. It's not going to be a real scoring leader because 3-point line didn't exist. Shot clock didn't exist. Whatever you want to say. And all that's true. But it doesn't take away from the guys going to have the most points ever in college basketball. Now, average, you can point at average. Nobody's ever touching Pete Maravich's scoring average ever again. That's an unbeatable record. But eventually, records are made to be broken. There's a lot to do with the, Roger Maris, when he hit 61 home runs, that was in 162 games. When Babe Ruth hit his with 154 games. So people were like, well, that's not fair. He's not really the home run leader, put an asterisk by his record. And at the end of the day, what's these guys supposed to do? Like, what's Antoine Davis supposed to do? Like, he wants to score points. Like, they want to win the game. Like, I don't care who you think is the record holder. He's got the most points. It is what it is. But that's happening tonight. I know a lot of people have been talking about that. That was my 2 cents. Pete Maravich will always be the all-time average scorer in history, and nothing can take that away. I saw Big Game Boomer put out a list, best point guards of all time, which I know Pete Maravich and Chris Jackson was also on the list. I just never really considered them like pure point guards. I mean, they were like scoring guards, but I guess they handled the ball too, so it's kind of is what it is. But he had Pete Maravich number 3 all time college basketball point guard, behind Magic Johnson and Oscar Robertson. So check that out on Twitter. All right, Alabama basketball. Shots fired. They are just I think it's more their fan base. Well, them too. The team. They just are a PR nightmare right now. They won the SEC. I saw Will Wade on a podcast saying how they're no longer his teams are no longer the villains of the SEC. It's now Alabama basketball, which is completely true. After the whole Brandon Miller, brings a gun to the guy. Oh, it was his property, blah, 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 blah. They just don't know how to shut up. And the whole TSA pat down intro line is kind of ridiculous. It's just everybody's so like tone deaf. And Alabama fans are tone deaf in general. But they're so like double down on everything, and it's kind of like weird. Like, you don't think that there was a problem here? Like, I'm not saying that he should be suspended or anything, but like, you don't think that this is like, everybody needs to chill out, let's be cool, like, touchy subject? No, they're just like, fuck that, innocent, let him play. Like he took like a bag of money or something. No, he didn't take a bag of money. He fucking delivered a murder weapon. Like, chill out, Bama fans. So Bama fans need to chill. Another person that needs to chill, Ole Miss baseball needs to chill. Ole Miss baseball completely robbed Louisiana Tech from a baseball game last night. If you don't know, La Tech is down 4-3 after the 6th inning. 7th inning, they come out, score 2 runs. They're up 5-4 over Ole Miss at Ole Miss. Weather breaks in. Rains everywhere. They have a weather delay. Ole Miss decides not to tarp the field. And somebody asked me today, you think they did that on purpose? Like, absolutely, they did that on purpose. They knew the rule. So eventually the field is not playable. They can't resume the game. And NCAA rules say you revert back to the last inning played, which Ole Miss was winning 4-3. Not only do they cheat La Tech out of the game, they don't try to schedule any kind of resumption of the game or anything like that. Ole Miss's baseball Twitter is notorious, by the way. I don't know if anybody knows that, but they come out and say, that's baseball. That's baseball for you. 4-3, Ole Miss wins. Like, what a joke, bro. Like, what a joke. It's just so laughable that you guys got a win out of this. That's it. I was floored. So that happened yesterday. Other news: LSU hired a couple of assistant coaches. So actually, they Bob Diaco came in from Connecticut. Well, actually, UConn. I don't even know if he was at UConn last. I know he was a head coach at one point. I think he went somewhere else. But Bob Diaco, as an analyst, actually coached under Brian Kelly at one point, which is a common theme. And I think the other guy's John Jancic. Is been elevated to the special teams coordinator. A lot of talk about maybe we were going to get Ole Miss's coordinator. That didn't happen. I thought we would have somewhat of a splash for the special teams coordinator. A guy that was going to be a big recruiter was what I thought. Not that this guy isn't, but a lot of these special teams coordinator roles tend to be this guy is a hotshot recruiter. And that's not really where they went. They pulled John Jancic from he was an analyst, and now he'll actually be a special teams coordinator plus a outside linebackers coach. Very not splashy, which is fine if it works. But I just felt like special teams were so bad under Polian that they were going to hire a guy that was going to come in and be designated to that. They didn't do that. So, gotta trust Brian Kelly, I guess, is what it is. But I have seen people saying, glowing over again, state-run media, glowing over this, oh, what a great move. What a great move. They don't even know who this fucking guy is. What a great move. Moving him. This will be fantastic for the defense. He's going to be able to just solely work on the pass rush, and you got your special teams. Great move by Brian Kelly. Yeah, stop. Come on, bro. It just elevated an analyst. Let's call it what it is. Now, what I do I like loading up your staff with ex coordinators, ex head coaches, guys with experience. I love it. More the merrier. Any more ex-head coaches that failed want to be analysts? Come on down. Any more Diacos want to come on down? Who got fired from Temple? Come on over here. Did you work with Brian Kelly? Come on over here. So I love that, and I think that that's a good thing and not a bad thing ever. It's kind of like Butch Jones. Butch Jones gets fired, and he's going to be an analyst. Great. Why wouldn't you want that? So a big fill for LSU with special teams. Obviously, it was a hot topic. And we'll see how that goes. I know spring ball is coming up here soon. We'll have some boots on the ground at spring football. I think that starts on the I'm not going to say the date because I don't even know it off the top of my head, but yeah, we'll have some guys out there. So we'll have some videos if you follow us on Twitter. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Still doing our thing. One team, one podcast. Also, if you're on YouTube, we appreciate it. Give us a like and a share. We would really appreciate that. Going to keep doing our shows on Thursdays. I'm going to be in a move here probably in a couple of weeks. So this is our temporary little space, but I'm gonna get something set up at the new condo here soon. So check out our sponsors. We appreciate those guys again. We got Bank of England Mortgage, Patrick Michelson over at Bank of England, BOESouthernstates.com. Lucas Ragusa, River Cities Total Maintenance. Check him out. Give him a call. It's getting fucking hot. We got Brandon Lejean over at Courtesy Automotive Group. Look at that guy. He's so sexy. We have Fred's in Tigerland since 1982. They have Better Than Ezra's coming at the end of March. So go check them out. You can order your tickets. Go check them out on Instagram. They'll have the links there in their bio. We have Bocock Brothers Cigars. May have another one. Maybe have one tonight. We'll see. Be cocky. Hashtag be cocky. BocockBrothers.com. All right. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. Please give us a follow on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, check out our YouTube page. Give us a like and a follow. And for everybody listening, it has been One Team, One Podcast.